The CIA is looking for Nephilim fallen angel bloodlines. The Gate program. Let's check it out.
Because of the special audio techniques used, it's important that certain sounds reach your right ear and others your left ear.
Do you remember having to take those tests? The note cards, the hearing tests, the pink drink? I remember doing those tests on multiple occasions. I don't know if I got kicked out or more likely what happened. I'm grateful that God protected me from whatever they were doing. This is what's known as the GATE program. We'll look at what this program was, the theory that it was being used to find children who have psychic abilities, and the possibility that the government may have actually been trying to track down human beings who have Nephilim DNA.
CIA had a program.
You know what? It is just so interesting how within just a span of about 20 years, how the word Nephilim, the whole theme about the Nephilim has become just almost mainstream now. I remember first learning about it in Iraq while I was stationed in Iraq. And man, it blew my mind. And it started a rabbit hole that I've been traveling down for many, many years. I just find it very interesting how it's just so frequent now. Now they're just announcing about that they were actually looking for possibly DNA from the Nephilim, which is a possibility. It's from what I hear, the stats are possibly about 15% of the population has significant Nephilim DNA inside them. I don't know. Let's get back over to it here.
To trace this alien DNA in certain families.
We'll first start this off with what is the GATE program?
Across the United States, inside ordinary classrooms, something unusual unfolded. Researchers, quiet, credentialed, and backed by prestigious institutions that you've definitely heard of, walked straight into public schools. They accessed student files, they recruited teachers, they ran experiments inside classrooms, all without parental knowledge, without student consent. And the purpose? To test children for psychic ability. This isn't internet folklore, this isn't rumor. This is documented, buried in academic journals, hidden.
So what do y'all think about that? This is another thing that I believe is possible. All right. Telekinesis, mind reading, telepathy, all of that stuff. But it's not of your own mind. It's not of some power within or whatever, or some mutation. They're demons. It's all demonic. You're just open to it, man. And whatever powers that you're doing is of them. It's of hell, man. It's not something you should be playing around with, because they're truly playing around with you.
In federal archives and scattered throughout decades of parapsychological research. I'm sure you've heard the many covert operations, MKUltra, Project Stargate, and a myriad of others. But what about a secret operation that took place in your elementary school? Does that sound far-fetched? Because to be completely honest, I thought that too. But you don't have to take my word for it, because I brought the receipts. If you went to preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school, or even college in the United States, anytime after the 1930s, this information is relevant to you because you might have been part of a secret experimentation that you knew nothing about. You don't have to fall under any demographic. You didn't have to participate in certain classes.
Am I the only one that wonders, like, what kind of stuff they have on me in their little files? Everybody has a file. Everybody has a file. I just wonder sometimes what's in mine. I don't know.
They tested as many children as they could. If you've never heard about it, GATE is an acronym for Gifted and Talented Education. These school programs usually serve the kindergarten to 12th grade, and former participants of these programs are...
We know that the Gifted and Talented TAG, GATE, GT program, whatever you want to call it, that was conducted in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and maybe into the 2000s, we know that they were experimenting on us.
GATE, the nefarious Gifted and Talented program. People across the internet seem to be remembering. Don't think this has been mentioned on this sub before. I recently came across some people on the internet, especially on Reddit and TikTok, claiming to have elementary school memories of these GATE, Gifted and Talented programs, that involved several exercises. The most commonly mentioned being wearing clanky 90s headphones and listening to audio clips, supposedly brainwashing them to be susceptible to out-of-body experiences / lucid dreaming. Different people are claiming to remember similar things.
They were probably hypnotizing them too, putting suggestions in. You know, you can't just like make somebody do something you don't want to in hypnosis, man. You have, in order for somebody, stage hypnosis is like its own animal, and people like half do it because it's just part of the thing. But like true hypnosis, man, that you have to do like a series of, like, to even, like, if you were to try and do self-hypnosis or whatever for like to quit smoking, it would take a minimum of like 6 sessions of hypnosis or self-hypnosis techniques to really truly help you and benefit you. But I mean, you can't just like and bam, they'll just do whatever.
Such as an exercise matching shapes together or reading a book upside down. One thing they all have in common is their tendency to forget most of or all of what happened in the program until later in their adult lives.
That was probably part of the hypnosis, all right? They just having them block it.
Certain accounts even recall them consuming some kind of pink drink, which was said to be a drug for the memory loss. Most people mainly just remember resenting going to the program or begging their parents to let them pull out of it. Proponents of this strange story are convinced it was some kind of CIA experiment, ran from the late 80s to early 2000s. Has anyone here shared similar experiences or encountered similar stories?
I personally only remember the note cards, the pink drink, and the hearing test, and I only had to do it on maybe 3 to 5 occasions, but there are other people who remember a lot more than that.
These flashcards, the headsets, those little shapes I'm showing you.
As far as I remember not being one of those children that was called away. I remember that.
Vividly remember the hearing test. I vividly remember doing the little worksheets with the Morse code. I remember there being a heavy focus on ancient Egypt.
I was a part of the Gifted and Talented program in the 90s, and I just found my binder. The stuff I found in there, I'm like, what were you training us for? Like, why was I 10 years old speaking Russian? It's cool, but I don't actually remember anything except that's my name. So I do remember that.
A strange occurrence that's happening with a lot of people who were in the GATE program is dreaming of places that look like old malls from the 80s or the 90s. This is very similar to the online videos known as the back rooms. These are normally videos of being trapped in some sort of surreal maze that is seemingly endless, and they also feel like a location or somewhere that you've been before. This was recently turned into a movie by the same name, Backrooms, but what people who are in the GATE program are dreaming about, they're calling Mall World.
A lot of kids remember being taken off campus to like weird locations.
I wasn't taken off campus.
That's good. But people will say that Mall World is implanted in the heads of children who were in this GATE program.
My mom also has Mall World dreams, and my mom was also in, I guess, the precursor to GATE. She was in a program, which is why she took me out of the GATE program when she found out I was.
All right, is it just me or, I mean, okay, where I paused her at is not the most flattering. I'll give her that, but these two just look creepy in general.
In the GATE program, because they didn't like tell her they were taking me out of class and stuff. What was it called that you were in?
It's called Advanced Training. It was shortened to AT program. Our whole schedule was different from the rest of the students. So we would go to school before the other students showed up. When the bell rang for students to change classes, nope, we had a different schedule. So we never interacted with the other students. So from 4th grade, pretty much graduation, I was with the same 26 kids.
You also have Mall World dreams. She has the theater, the girls' bathrooms, the locker rooms, auditorium, like gymnasium area.
The underground.
Yep, the underground. Yep, underneath.
The lockers.
Underneath, like it's like a dormitory school thing.
There's a CIA program known as the Gateway Program, which is a declassified 1983 report of an analysis and assessment of the Gateway process, which was written for the U.S. Army Intelligence and later released through the CIA Reading Room. The report examined the Gateway experience, which is a training system developed by the Monroe Institute, which used guided meditation, relaxation techniques, and hemisync binaural audio tones. This was used for out-of-body experiences, remote viewing, altered perception of time and space, and basically just part of the CIA's program of trying to harness psychic abilities. All
right, so I'm gonna truth tell right here. Back in the mid-90s, I was really like reading just those slop magazines of, that has to do with like UFOs and stuff, and people write like fan fiction and stuff like that they would print as though it was like a real letter from an alien that decided to write to that magazine. Yeah, one of those kind of things. And they'd have some of the craziest ads. And I remember one was for a book. And I can't remember what exactly. I think it was it was about remote viewing. First time I'd ever heard of it. And I can't remember the exact title of it, but it was very cheaply put together. And I got it, and I'm reading it, and it's going through a step-by-step process on how to easily prepare your mind to remote view things, or to basically manifest your greatest desires from the power of your own mind. Now, I have been saved since I was 10 years old. And I am so glad for that, because I have no idea the things that the Lord was truly protecting me from at times. But, excuse me. Yeah, man, it's just, the Lord really, really protected me in more ways than I could ever realize because of this stuff.
The people who were involved in the GATE program are believing that they were part of some CIA test similar to the Gateway process. I was enrolled in gifted classes as a child. I now believe it was a CIA training program. This is probably the leading theory, that many people who were in the GATE program believed that they were being looked into to see if they had these psychic abilities. How are these all connected? Well, the only thing we know for sure is that the CIA and other government agencies are looking for something among the population. Now, in this new age that we're in of summoning UFO orbs, we have people thinking that that's the psychic ability that the government was trying to find through the GATE program.
But, I just realized I didn't finish my train of thought. I'm sorry I lost it there for a second, but that book, man, it was just straight demonic, because it really was just teaching you how to basically channel a spirit, to get what you want in this life. The scariest part about it was that I have no doubts that it probably would have worked if I had given 100% to it. But I wound up stopping. I was trying it for a little while privately. And I didn't realize it at the time. But I was grieving the Holy Spirit, and it was bothering me. And so I wound up stopping that. But yeah, thank God. But that stuff is real. And yes, the CIA has had a program with it. I bet they still do.
Child Genius claims he was recruited into a secret program to mentally pilot UFOs. One thing that I'll note, and I find very interesting, is that this whole thing hasn't even popped up until the past few years, where people are now publicly showing and proving that they can summon these things. It was not mentioned any time between the 90s and now, so kind of perfect timing for people to make these claims. People are actually out there summoning things, but they're not UFOs and aliens from other planets.
Never heard anyone specifically say what type of technology that the ETs were gifting us.
I know people have been involved with the GATE program.
The GATE program?
Yes, the Gifted and Talented, that program.
Yep.
And they would have these kids try to interface with this metallic sphere, and that just kind of reminded me of that. And allegedly that's a piece of alien technology that's, responsive to psionics or thought.
But it seems like the intent, based off watching these videos, is actually pure. The ETs potentially, they're manipulating our DNA to get us ready for contact, and they're just trading technology with us at the same time, so the governments don't get mad that they're temporarily taking people and working with them.
Can you explain how it usually manifests or how you experience it?
It usually manifests as something anomalous in the sky, orbs, crafts, different pyramid-looking objects moving at extreme rates of speed and doing very angular movements.
When you do this, are there other people around? Do they actually see you doing this?
I have multiple witnesses that can testify that that is a fact.
Is that like an M16 or an AK-47 like tattooed on the side of his face? Because it looks like a rifle of some type. There are some decisions you make in this life, but you seriously have stepped into a whole different realm when you have decided that you need to tattoo anything on your face, let alone a gun.
And how many times do you feel like you've been able to summon something in the sky?
Anytime I want.
These people are summoning the evil powers in the heavenly realms that war against humanity. These are deceptions from Satan's kingdom. Just like the fallen angels and the Nephilim hybrids they created are also part of Satan's kingdom. As we know, and Jesus told us, Satan's kingdom is not divided. This Nephilim fallen angel thing may actually be what the government is trying to find. A biotech firm says it is still on track to bring back the woolly mammoth by 2028. Dire wolves brought back from extinction are now fully grown and hunting together as pack.
but it's not really a dire wolf. It's not. They're crossing genes and stuff and DNA codes and stuff, man. It's not a dire wolf. It's something else.
Of 3, scientists grow humanized kidneys in pig embryos. What is a geep? The science goat sheep chimeras. Researchers breed mice with hybrid brains containing cells from rats. This is the exact thing that the fallen angels were doing in the days of Noah and in the days of Lot, but just in a different way. They were corrupting the seed of humans and animals, probably in an attempt to attack and destroy God's creation. There's nothing new under the sun. This is still going on today, just in a different process. And now with this capability that we have to look at genetics and find a lot of details about it, this raises the question, are there people out there looking for Nephilim genetics that still may exist in a small number of humans from the original corrupting that the fallen angels were doing in the days of Noah and the days of Lot? This may be what they're actually looking for. CIA accused of using Ancestry and 23andMe to hunt down alien bloodlines in millions of DNA tests.
What?
You know now, don't you, that the US Air Force has been secretly testing people through the GATE program for certain psychic abilities?
Yes.
Okay, that dude he's kind of a wackadoo, man. You can just see, like, to me personally, it just seems like you can see he's like seething in possession. The bald guy, before this dude.
I had a program to trace this alien DNA in certain families in the United States, that certain families, and particularly their children, were of interest to CIA. I didn't know what to make of it back then. But you start talking about the GATE program and subsequent studies of children and their capabilities and their abilities to do certain psionic things, that now comes to my mind.
It's not aliens that they're after. They're probably continuing that lie these days because it keeps people off the tracks of what they're actually doing. What they really want is the fallen angels, the Nephilim, the evil spiritual forces that people have tried uniting with all throughout history to try and gain absolute control. That's why this email from Hillary Clinton's server, found in a Freedom of Information Act release, is so interesting. Requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body, and the location of the buried Nephilim. You can see the status of all these emails on the right. Every other one is open. This one, of course, is closed. That's very sensitive information. In the Gospels, Jesus tells us what it will be like when he returns. People will be caught off guard, just like those who weren't following God's ways were in the times of Noah and in the times of Lot. But we know that a lot of other things are going to be going on too when the Son of God, Jesus Christ, returns. And maybe this prophecy from Jesus is telling us that the fallen ones, the Nephilim, will return again. And maybe that's what these different programs are actually trying to track down. And when they do, they may try to resurrect them, just like they have the dire wolves and the woolly mammoth. And as it was in the days of Noah, so it will also be in the days of the Son of Man. They ate, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, as it was also in the days of Lot. They ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built, but on the day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even so will it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed.
People just don't know, man. You know, we are so close to the end. The Lord could come at any moment. I hope you all are ready, man. Jesus said, be ready. No time to get ready. Better be ready. because he is definitely coming soon, man. And we're about out of here. We're not gonna have to put up with this stuff much longer, folks. We got so many awesome things to look ahead to. This world is about done, and I couldn't be happier. It needs to end. It's just getting worse and worse and worse, and I think sin is almost fully grown. Yep, time for the Lord to cut it down.
Switching it up.